This is Lysander Spooner. And if you don't know who he is, I suggest you look him up and read about him and his words that he had spoke. He was a very controversial person in his day. He spoke true words about true liberty and the falsehoods of humanity and the gathering of people and what they think they can and cannot do by calling themselves the frickin' majority. Unless this clear distinction between vices and crimes be made and recognized by the law, there can be on earth no such thing as individual right, liberty, or property. For a government to declare a vice to be a crime and to punish it as such is an attempt to falsely the very nature of things. It is as absurd as it would be to declare truth to be falsehood or falsehood truth. A man's natural rights are his own against the whole world, and any infringement of them is equally a crime, whether committed by one man or by millions, whether committed by one man calling himself a robber or by millions calling themselves a government. If taxation without consent is not robbery, then any band of robbers have only to declare themselves a government, and all their robberies are legalized. Those who are capable of tyranny are capable of perjury to sustain it. And that's a fact. It is self-evident that no number of men by conspiring and calling themselves a government can acquire any rights whatever over other men or other men's property, which they had not before as individuals. And whenever any number of men calling themselves a government do anything to another man or to his property, which they had no right to do as individuals, they thereby declare themselves trespassers, robbers, or murderers, according to the nature of their acts. But whether the Constitution really be one thing or another, this much is certain, that it has either authorized such a government we have had, or has been powerless to prevent it. In either case, it is unfit to exist. And last but least, a wise man makes his own decisions. An ignorant man follows public opinion. And pretty much, most of society is this right here. And that's a fact. They follow public opinion. They don't think for themselves. They don't make their own decisions. They depend on others to make them for them. This is why the bottom sentence from that point right here on, is pretty much the exception of our society. Nobody does their own research to be the part of this particular sentence. They don't do any of their own personal research to do a comparison to find out if what they're being told is really the truth. And unfortunately, in a world that we live in and the narrative is controlled by a handful of people, you're not going to get the truth whatsoever. You're going to get a falsified, scripted narrative so that you will believe what they're telling you, that is the truth. And it's far from the truth. And that is the truth.